Hello. I just want to start this video off by saying I can't really see what's going on. I think I've done something to the screen in the camera, so if the quality is off, I can't really see. Grab a brew, grab a blanket, buckle in. So welcome to episode 2. No, that's coffee. So welcome to episode 2. I really enjoyed doing the first video, so I thought I would do a second episode, and this time we're focusing on relationship advice. So I asked on Instagram again. I've done what I've done last time, and I'm only going to pick a few so I can go into depth and actually answer them properly. So the first one is, I really want to explore. Now I need to be careful what I say because I usually don't. You know when you hang your washing on the line and you put pegs on it? Someone wants to explore but I feel ashamed and even embarrassed to even mention it to a partner. Any advice, please? That's a really good question. I feel like while progress is being made in terms of people being comfortable speaking about their sexuality and things like that, some things are still seen as a taboo. Personally, if I was going to ask something like that, I would just come out and say it. Or if you don't want to come out and say it, also don't feel ashamed. Do not feel ashamed. Do not feel ashamed. I hate the shame around things. No, people love doing that. If that was me, I would just sit my partner down and be like, would you be into this? Because I think I would be. But if you don't, that's fine. And just kind of, I don't know, take the weight out of the situation. I know that's easier said than done, but it might help to kind of practice having the conversation to yourself in the mirror, or talk to yourself if you're on your own, or if you have a friend or someone that you really trust, kind of practice a conversation with them maybe if you want to like build up the confidence to ask. Or you could approach it in a slightly different way by kind of saying, have you ever done this? And if they say, oh no, I would never want to do that, then you kind of have your answer, and then you can either just leave it at that or be like, oh yeah, I kind of would want to, and then you can kind of go from there. That kind of takes the weight out of the conversation. It makes it a bit more casual. But yeah, just a casual approach, I think. Yeah, I think I would just simply casually bring it up and ask them if they've ever tried it, or if they know anyone that has, or ask them what they think about it, because getting their honest opinion first leaves you in a better place, because maybe if you were to just outright ask them, they might say, oh yeah, okay, but they might not want to. So maybe kind of get their opinion on it first and then go from there. I hope that helps. Okay, next question. Does the no contact thing really work after a breakup? Does your ex come back, or at least want to? In my opinion and in my experience, yes, no contact does work. If you've broken up with someone, or somebody has broken up with you and you want to contact them, you do have to respect the other person's wishes and wants. So if you've broken up with someone and they've asked you to not contact them, you have to respect that. And I think it's quite selfish to ignore that and keep on messaging them and keep trying to contact them. If they've explicitly said, please leave me alone, you need to just leave them alone. Give them time, give them a few months, and then after a few months, you maybe approach again, or you could speak to one of their friends or family members and just say, would they be interested in having a conversation? I think going through someone else rather than directly to them kind of makes it easier on both sides. And also for yourself, I think if a relationship has ended, no contact is the quickest way to heal. You might really want to contact them. You might really have things that you want to say. If you break up with someone who you love, you will have things that you want to say to them days, weeks, months, years down the line. Do you know what I mean? I remember I ended it with someone who I was with for 5 years. That's a really long time. It was a really beautiful relationship. And when it ended, even though I'd ended it, I still wanted to make sure they were okay. I wanted to ask how they were doing. And in the end, they asked me if I could not message them anymore, and I absolutely respected that. Selfishly, I wanted to check in, but that's not my place. If they've asked me to not message them, I had to respect that, and it helped me as much as it probably helped them, because I got over it and got through it so much more quickly. You will know yourself. You will know someone that is in a toxic relationship where they're going back and forwards. They break up, then they get back together again, break up, then get back together again. A relationship like that, just quit it, just end it, because there's a reason this keeps happening. Do you know what I mean? That might sound pretty black and white, but that's my personal attitude towards it. Yeah, you will know someone in a toxic relationship, and you just know that if they were just to have their phones removed and there was no way they could contact each other, they would then start to realize that actually this relationship isn't good, and you go through things in your head and then you think, yeah, no, this is fine. So I think it definitely does work. It gives both people the chance to heal and to put themselves first. Yeah, you have to respect that, and it's one of the hardest things to do, to have no contact with somebody who you've loved or really cared for, and it kind of feels like you're going against your instinct. But then also remember what was familiar, because if you have a problem or an issue or a thought, you tend to go to your partner first if you have them. So you need to remember that something like that contact, that instant contact, might just have been familiar to you. But yeah, please respect someone if they've asked you not to contact them. Otherwise you're harassing them, and if you keep persisting, it makes you look bad. You could be a lovely person, but it paints you in a bad light, and also if it continues, you could get in trouble. So it's just not risk it. I know it's hard, it's really hard, it's one of the hardest things ever, but the more you stick to something, the easier it gets. It's like forming a new habit or changing something in your lifestyle that was unhealthy. Okay, next one. How would you manifest your dream partner? Oh, a lovely question. Oh, I love it. Okay, there's all sorts of things on the internet for manifesting your dream partner, but I think first and foremost is accepting, are you ready for it? Because if you're not ready to meet your dream partner, as in the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, if you are not ready, it won't happen. Even if you think you're ready or think you're not ready, the universe kind of knows and will deliver. But manifesting is, if you can hear a beanbag, it is my cat making biscuits and getting comfortable. With manifesting, one of the first rules is to take away any desperation. If you are desperate or frustrated, the universe just thinks, wait, how am I wording this? How do I word this? The universe never says no, it only says yes. So if you're desperate or you're frustrated, the universe will just keep giving you back. That's because that's what you're technically asking for. So if you are, I need a partner, or I need my dream man, or it's so annoying, I keep going on these dates and nothing works out, blah, blah, blah. Take away all that negative energy and just accept that the right person for you is on their way. The second thing is to be specific. Now, I had never ever been specific before in relationships. I've never felt the need to. I've very much just kind of fallen for someone based on who they are as a person. Be specific, make it fun. So I wish I had it, I wish I did. I literally got gel pens, highlighters, massive piece of paper, and I wrote literally about 30 things I wanted my dream partner to be. I treated the universe like a catalogue, and this was so much fun. I actually did this going through a breakup, and it was something that kind of like took my mind off it. I wasn't looking for anyone. When I was writing this down, I actually wasn't looking for anyone, and I actually think that in turn led me to meeting the man of my dreams, because I wasn't desperate. I was just thinking, oh yeah, if I meet my dream man, I want them to be like this, and I kind of like envisioned it, imagined it, and then I just kind of left the paper somewhere. And then it was only then after I met my husband Faisal, I found this piece of paper and was like, oh my gosh, he ticks every single thing. The only thing he didn't tick was that I wrote on there Northerner, because no disrespect, I just wanted a Northerner because I vibe more with the Northern way. I've dated Southerners, or like the middle class people from where I'm from, and it wasn't me. Like, I'm not middle class enough for that. You know, you've only got one bathroom. Oh God. So yeah, be specific, have fun with it. You might feel a bit shallow being that specific, because I certainly did, because I've never wanted to be like, oh, I want them to have this job or whatever, but it really worked. I had on there specific looser things like they can't be insecure, because I'd previously dated someone insecure and it was just exhausting. I had on that emotionally mature, had done the work to be emotionally mature, because I was in a place where I was very emotionally mature, so I thought I can't have someone who's just like, do you know what I mean? I literally had on there the job. I had on there things like, needs to be in the creative scene, it needs to be in the arts, because they need to understand that me as an actor can just get a job like that, or I could be snogging someone on stage, and they need to be fully like okay with that. I said a little bit shallow, but I was like, preferably in the music industry, just so I don't have to pay for all my gigs, which sounds awful. I'd only ever dated one musician before that. Like, I'd never been with anyone in a band like that. I'd dated one person who was in a band at one point, but yeah, I was like, preferably like a musician. And when I was writing this, I was like, oh god, this is like whatever. But I had about 30 things on there, and he just appeared. Jesus Christ, he just appeared. And it works because Faisal did exactly the same thing with me. I've spoken about this before on my channel, but Faisal manifested me. He was having a conversation with one of his bandmates, and he was like, yeah, I want to meet someone like preferably an actor or something like that. That would be cool. Preferably like a bit foreign looking. And he said these things, and then he realized a couple of weeks after we met, oh my god, like, here she is. And we were both just like, oh, okay, it works. You really can. You just have to have fun with it. Don't feel desperate. Don't feel frustrated. And then trust that they're going to appear. But the more you envision it quite specifically, I think the quicker it will happen. But also being ready, being in a good, healthy place yourself. You won't meet your dream partner if you are in a negative place, or a toxic place, or you love being in toxic relationships. Like, you just won't necessarily meet your lifelong partner. But yeah, I hope that helps. Now, I don't know if this is a question or a comment, or if it's a dig, but it's like, it's easy for you to give relationship advice when you found your dream person. Yes and no. Like, yeah, to be honest, I do feel like it's easy to give relationship advice, but I would have felt the same even if I wasn't in a relationship. Yeah, I am lucky to have found my dream person, but I will say that luck is only a small element of it. And you might think, oh, it's easy for you to say because blah, 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 you find your blah, blah, blah. No. The reason I am in such a happy and healthy relationship is not just because we are lucky to have found each other. It is because we have both separately, before we met each other, really worked on ourselves. There has not been one red flag with meeting Faisal. There has been no toxic traits in the relationship. And yeah, you might say, God, you're really lucky to have found someone like that. Yeah, I am, I'm fully aware. But he's also lucky to have found me in that same sense. Yeah, luck, manifesting, all those kind of things. But I do want to say that yeah, like I just said, we both continuously are working on improving ourselves as people, and also our emotional maturity and intelligence and things like that. We work really hard on communication, and it feels like we're not putting in any effort, but we are actually putting in loads of effort. It's just that we are emotionally mature enough to understand the relationship and understand how each other works. And yes, the luck element, I think, is definitely the fact that we are very compatible in terms of star signs and zodiacs. We're both water signs, so we're both deeply emotional and obsessed with each other in a healthy way, and so that really works. But yeah, the tea, it's not, it's coffee. It's not green tea this time, guys. I'm enjoying it. I've had, at various points, I don't know if Faisal has, but I have had digs made at me about my relationship, and I don't even think the digs have been made on purpose, if that makes sense, which is why I'm just not bothered about them. But there have been people that have kind of made comments and be like, oh, lucky you, like with your perfect person, or like, God, you always post about your partner. But yeah, I've had quite kind of like unnecessarily horrible comments, trying to make me feel bad because I have found my dream person and someone else hasn't. And I know it's not meant in a really nasty way, but also, why would you say it? So if your comment is a dig, what I will say is, yeah, I am very lucky, but it hasn't just happened to me like that. I am someone who has never ever found red flags or toxic traits attractive in a relationship. myself, I know that I am not toxic in my relationship. I'm not saying I'm perfect, by the way, I'm absolutely not, but how do I say this? Faisal and I don't do anything wrong to each other that would make the relationship hard. So I'm lucky that I have found someone who is also not toxic, doesn't have red flags, and is emotionally mature and smart. We have both learnt from other relationships that we've been in. We've both learnt as growing up. We have both been raised. We are very lucky to both have both of our parents who have raised us to be good, kind people. Also, I am not attracted to people with red flags and who are toxic, so I'm never going to be in a relationship with somebody like that because I don't like that. So again, that's another thing. It's not luck, it's just I don't go for people that aren't going to give me everything I want. I also, yeah, I think as well my lifestyle is a lot different now. I have a very healthy lifestyle, so that feeds into the relationship. Also, Faisal and I have the same morals and principles in relationships. Like, we consider the same things as cheating, so I think seeing things quite black and white has helped. Like, we work really hard in our relationship to the point where we don't think we're working hard, because we never try to make each other feel bad, or we never take our stresses out on each other. We're also really good at accountability as well, so we never get defensive. It's just being mature and smart in a relationship. Like, if I say to Faisal, you're really upsetting me because every time I put out your washing, you don't put it away. He will then say, I've made a note of that. I'm really sorry that I've made you feel like that. Yep, I'll hold my hands up. I will work on getting better at that. We're both laid back. So yeah, we're really lucky in the terms that we're quite similar people, but don't just think a perfect relationship is down to luck and you're just not lucky. Maybe you have things you need to work on yourself. I don't mean that in a horrible way. You have to be mature and aware of your flaws and stuff. Being insecure and being secure are two very different things. I think if I was insecure and Faisal was secure, the relationship wouldn't work, because I'm with someone who's in a band. So if I was insecure, the relationship just wouldn't work. So I'm like, what's he doing? What's he doing? Blah, 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 blah. The same way that if Faisal was insecure and I was secure, it wouldn't work, because Faisal would be like, oh, she's on set, like she's kissing guys, like she's obviously in love with them, like blah, 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 blah. That wouldn't work. Whilst luck is amazing, you also have to be ready and good at communicating. Yeah. I don't know if I've answered that well, because I don't know if that was a question or a nice comment or a dig. If it was a nice comment, yeah, thank you. Sorry. But yeah, I didn't really know how to take that one. Okay, the final one I'm going to answer today is, I am in a really good place with my partner. However, I was drunk last week and I definitely kissed someone. What should I do? Okay. Yeah, you're probably feeling all sorts of things, and I'm sorry if you're feeling all sorts of things as well. That's a really tricky situation, because if you're in a good place, why did you let yourself do that? But then also, I'm fully aware that some people, when they're under the influence of alcohol or other things, they often do things that they aren't aware of or don't remember. The first thing I will say is you just have to be honest. And I know that's probably what you don't want to hear, because that's a horrible situation to be in. Yeah, that's the first thing. I would plan how you're going to tell that person. Don't beat around the bush, just say, I have something to tell you and I've done this. The second thing is, if you are... Sorry, I feel like I'm being really blunt. If I am, I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. Oh, this is horrible. I don't want to upset anyone. Why did you do that? If you're really in a good place, why did you do that? Are you now thinking, we might be in a good place on the surface, but underneath, I'm not happy? Because if you were truly in a really good place, you wouldn't even think about doing that, even if you were drunk. I say to people, as soon as you start even considering looking at someone else in that way, or imagining doing something to someone else in that way, personally, to me, I think it's over. Oh gosh, this is horrible. Maybe your subconscious brain is trying to do, maybe you were on self-destruct mode. Maybe you've done that in your drunken thoughts because you wanted a way out of the relationship. That could be it. And you now have something to get at the relationship if you have done something like that. So I think you really need to sit and ask yourself, why did I do that? Don't just say, oh, I was drunk, like I didn't mean to, because I don't know if that's a good enough reason. Or think, how would you feel if your partner did that to you? If you found out that your partner had actually done that to you and you don't feel that bothered, then I think again, you've kind of realized something, maybe the relationship isn't as good as it is. If you were to find out that they had done to you and that would break your heart, then you realize that you've now done that to someone else. Things always get out in the end, so do not keep it from them. Yeah, I think just in the first place, why did you do it? If you are someone who blacks out when you're drunk or things like that, if you're in a relationship, why would you go out drinking? I know that's a horrible way of looking at it, but I know people that are like that, and they have to really limit going out and drinking because they kind of can't control themselves when they're drunk. Honesty is the key. Also being realistic with yourself. How do I word this? I just want to preface, I know this is the end of the video now, I never want to come across condescending or patronizing or like, well, I would never do that. I don't want to come across all that. I'm just trying to relate it to like experiences. And also I'm very aware that, and also I'm not saying this as if like I never even find anyone attractive. Like Faiza and I are always like, God, that person's so attractive, or they're beautiful, or they're stunning, or they're whatever. Like that's different. Appreciating someone's beauty is totally different, but thinking of someone in that way, it's just something. If you're in like a totally happy relationship, you just don't do. Is it because you're not getting enough attention from your partner? If so, then you should be communicating that with them. Do you feel neglected by them? Are you insecure? I know a lot of people cheat because they are actually insecure, so they would rather kind of like get there first. That's a really common thing. If that is the case, then that's kind of a good chance to be like, right, okay, I need to end this relationship and work on myself and my own insecurities, because no one should feel insecure in a relationship. No one should feel insecure anyway. I'd never want anyone to feel insecure. Yeah, there might be like an underlying meaning as to why you did that. Yeah, life is far too short to be stuck in something that you're not really happy with. And if you realize that you are really, really happy and you want to be with this person, and this person is everything to you, and they fulfill you and they're absolutely everything, then you really need to be totally honest, and you just need to pray that you can rebuild the relationship and the trust. However, do expect the worst just in case. These tiny silly mistakes cost everything sometimes. I want to send you lots of love and a hug. If I could hug you, I would. Because this is not a fun time. But with every relationship, every friendship, everything is rooted in honesty and communication. If you don't have those, you are absolutely effed. Good luck. I'm sending both of you lots of love, but please tell them, please be honest. Please, 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 please. I don't even know who sent this because I've done it on the not NGL app, but please be honest. I'm gonna leave it on that cheery note. I really hope you've enjoyed this one. I'll probably definitely do one again. By the time this video comes out, the clocks will have changed, because I'm gonna put this out next weekend. Happy spring, happy summer, guys. It's all looking up. Please be honest with yourselves, be honest with people, be kind, be free, have some water, have your green tea, and I will see you in the next video. I hope you've enjoyed this. Like and subscribe if you want, and bye bye.